In this chapter, I shall reveal one of the worst contricks ever perpetrated upon the followers of Muhammad and the world by the exegetes of Islam. The fact that the expression Ar-Rahman was not and is not a characteristic, compassionate, most gracious of Allah, but was and is the actual name, not an adjective, of the supreme God of the Yemen. Muhammad hijacked the name of this deity during his early Mecca period and used it extensively in his initial verses to bring the pagan Quraysh to believe in this God. The name of Ar-Rahman, not Allah, appears in 16 Mecca surahs 65 times, and in 3 of the very early Medina surahs 3 times. I shall provide a list of all of them at the end of the chapter for your reference and verification. In almost each and every occurrence of the word Rahman or Ar-Rahman, Muslim translators deliberately pervert it into an attribute, sifa, of Allah, most gracious or most beneficent, so that the ordinary Muslims would be deceived, and with them all of humanity. The reason is obvious. How could there have been 2 gods with 2 different names that Muhammad believed in? Since the Mecca verses were the very earliest alleged revelations, I shall show you that all the attributes and deeds that were later bestowed upon Allah were those that Ar-Rahman had before him. I shall demonstrate how the translators of the Quran invariably and deliberately add words to the text that are not in the Arabic of the verse, or falsify the meaning or smooth it over, so as to deceive and mislead the unwary and the unlearned in the Arabic language, be they followers of Muhammad or not. Muhammad repeatedly told his followers that war is deception. Hence, considering the fact and reality that Muhammadan Muslims are at war with 80% of humanity, all Christians, Buddhists, Hindus, Jews, Zoroastrians, atheists, animists, pagans, etc., they hence must use all manner of deception and subterfuge, with utter contempt for facts and reality. I shall start with the very remarkable Surah Al-Rahman, 55. Al-Rahman, Allah most gracious. It is He who has taught the Quran. This verse clearly indicates that it was Ar-Rahman who has brought down the Quran and not Allah. All the verses which follow describe Ar-Rahman's deeds, attributes and alleged revelations to Muhammad. Not once is the word Allah mentioned in this surah of 78 verses. He has created man. He has taught him speech. The sun and the moon follow courses computed. And the firmament has He raised high, and He has set up the balance. It is He who has spread out the earth for His creatures. He created man from sounding clay like unto pottery, and He created jinn from fire free of smoke. Only in Muhammad's Quran are jinn, demons, created with humanity and are parallel creatures, though invisible to them. He has let free the 2 bodies, Bahrain, of flowing water meeting together. I would like to read to you what the translator of this Quran, Abdullah Yusuf Ali, one of the best on this subject, explaining this verse and the following using convoluted logic with deliberate deception and misrepresentation of the facts. Maraja literally let free or let loose cattle for grazing. Bahrain, 2 seas or 2 bodies of flowing water. For Bahr is applied both to the salt sea and to rivers. But the wonderful sign is that the 2 bodies of water, though they pass through each other, remain distinct bodies with their distinct functions. Salt and sweet meet together, yet keep separate, as if there was a barrier or partition between them. Irrespective of the interpreter's asinine and poor attempt at explaining this verse, its meaning is still very elusive. Most important of all, the interpreter has deliberately misrepresented the meaning of the verse, because the Arabic clearly states he mixed maraja, the 2 seas, Bahrain, meeting together, يلتقيان. There is no mention of flowing water nor of their characteristics, whether salt or sweet. All of these explanations are the translator's conjecture only, and not based on the Arabic of the verses. Furthermore, the Arabic lexicons use two completely different words to describe sea, bahr, and river, shat. Hence the Quran is describing the mixing of two seas without any allusion to any river. Many of the verses in this surah make very little sense, if any, and forces the interpreter to go to extreme lengths of convoluted logic to explain them. Between them is a barrier, بينهما برزخ, which they do not transgress, لا يبغيان. The word used here, barzakh, is translated to barrier, which is illogical. Since the Arabic of the earlier verse is crystal clear in asserting that the two seas were mixed, maraja, and were meeting together, and hence could not have had any barrier between them. Most relevant of all is the fact that this word barzakh did not exist in the Arabic language prior to its sudden and unique appearance in 3 verses in Muhammad's Quran. It is also a fact that the Muslim lexicons venture no suggestion as to its verbal root and are unable to quote any examples of the use of this word in any Arabian old poetry, and obviously seek to interpret its meaning from the material of the Quran itself. Most modern linguists agree that it is originally a Persian word, parasang, meaning a measure of land or of roads. But for such as fear the time when they will stand before their Lord, there will be 2 gardens, Jannatan. In them will be maidens chaste, restraining their glances, whom no man or jinn before them has touched, يَقْبِضَهُنَّ. Only Muhammad's Quran promises physical and not spiritual female companions for sex. To those followers of Muhammad who are predestined to the gardens, because they died in jihad, slaughtering, plundering, raping, and enslaving unbelievers. Neither the Hebrew Bible nor the New Testament ever associated such eroticism and physicality in their concept of the afterlife. Companions hurun restrained as to their glances in goodly pavilions, whom no man or jinn before them has touched, يَتْمِضَهُنَّ. Blessed be the name of thy Lord, full of majesty, bounty, and honor. Without many of the explanations that are added above, any reader of the Quran should realize the incredible repetitiveness of the Quranic verses and their total lack of logic and clarity of thought. Muhammad's Quran, as a product of his twisted mental secretions, is obsessed with sex, fear, hell, submission, torture, and more sex. Muhammad's Quran, as we have proven in over 275 unchallengeable videos, contains no salvation, spirituality, compassion, or redemption.